Hi there, and thank you for joining me for today's live reading of Master Bistrita by Sylvia Black, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1, Bistrita. Everyone looks to me now that the bloodthirsty rogues have infiltrated the Carpathian Mountains, in my territory, as though they now own the entire range. This time, we will trap our enemies and use our combined powers with the Witch's Stones and the Syndicate to send them back to the Dark Ages where they belong. The rogues will be defeated, and the purebloods will maintain power of the underworld, or the purebloods will die an eternal death trying. The moment we realized Lucas was a traitor, it was clear he must have wanted to take over the job that Cyrus, an evil rogue vampire, started years ago. The minute Devora, head witch of the academy, gave her blessing for her witches to work with the purebloods, the rogue's impending doom was sealed. At least, if destiny has anything to do with it. Devora's image slowly rises in the bubble above us, disappearing as quickly as it came after imparting her wrath and fueling her witches for the battle to come with the rogues. My mind reels with the enormity of what just happened. Devora allowing the witches in her coven to fight by the side of the vampires. It's hard to comprehend it all. Master Aradia gives me the nod to take lead as he follows the young woman who I have not yet met but have heard so much about from the room. I point to an area on the map laid out on the table around the other masters and their mates. I heard Master Aradia tell you his land butts up against mine, right in the center here. I circle the area with a black marker. Aradia and I have been watching this range closely. We've talked at length about different strategies we might take if we were ever breached by the rogues, or the shifter bastards they employ to guard them. The witches eye me with sneaky suspicion, but their mates' arms around them tell me they are not a threat, as in years long ago, or they would not be protecting them. No matter that the witches still probably believe a large part of the mountain range and land surrounding it belongs to them, rightfully theirs through a heritage the purebloods dispute. Regardless, this is a new day. I strive to put their minds at ease right away. I have no issue with the witches who fight by our side. I'll save my ire and temper for the rogues who will wish they had never met me when I'm through giving them a lesson of a lifetime. The group looks to me and I clear my throat. Master Aradia has already filled me in on the situation. Overmaster Descalia asked that he and I work together as both of us know different areas of the territory and are familiar with the land where they joined. Master Romano and Raven, Campania and Willow, Sardinia and Madria, Bodasani and Katina all listen closely. The masters nod, and I get a hesitant half smile from Romano's mate that doesn't quite reach her eyes. The witches in the group will come around once they know I have no evil intent or plan to set them ablaze. The blaze I intend to set will be for that traitor Lucas and his willing accomplice who managed to fool us all, Embry. Without her, he could not have gotten near as far. The rogue vampires were smart to get the humans to hunt us, trying to convince them that we were responsible for the disappearance of their women. Getting Asala drawn to their side was a wise move too, one that led to many of the betrayals we've seen. Even now that she's dead, the empty promises she made keep the hope for power alive for some of the underworld. Master Campania nods. The fucking mangy shifters. They think if they can take us down, they will acquire the power. They will have nothing when we are done with them. I wrap my fist on the table in solidarity. That's exactly right. I circle a large round area of the map with the black marker. They want it all, but we will not give them an inch. Overmaster Descalia and Master Oradia asked me to join and help lead the group in the mountainside with Master Oradia. The journey will not be easy, but when we are done, we will be victorious. Yes? The masters cheer, and Overmaster Descalia gives me a nod of thanks while his arms slip around Luciana. Our future queen eyes me with silent appreciation for calming the nervous witches and getting us prepared for the journey which lies ahead. I run my finger along the map, laying out the trail Master Aradia and I have talked about at length. The Syndicate enforcers are running perimeter patrol all along this treed area, right down to the water's edge. When the shifters run, and make no doubt about it, they will run when they see our armies. We will flush the fuckers out, while the Syndicate boys wrap up every mangy one of them. I look to Descalia and Master Sardinia, knowing a conversation needs to occur about Sheba, an understanding of where we go from here after all that has occurred. I give Overmaster Descalia a nod. We should probably get something out in the open before we meet Shiva by the mountain. His wolves have caused significant damage and angst by defecting and siding with the rogues. Not that long ago, we thought he may be involved with their evil plot to overthrow the purebloods. We now know that's not true and that he wants to help, but I'll leave that to Overmaster Descalia, who has been friends with him for the longest. Descalia's eyes scan the group to quickly gauge the temperature in the room for Sheba. I will put it to a vote of those who are here. We've already spoken with Aradia about it, so I know how he feels about Sheba. Sardinia, you probably have the most angst about Sheba. Do you want to share it with the group? Master Sardinia strokes the arm of his mate, Madria. Sheba has much to prove to this world these days because of Isala's ability to turn his packs into fighting machines for the rogue vampire bastards. He's always been a strong and decent leader of his pack, but she turned his wolves against him with evil promises of taking over. They hungered for power. I've known Sheba for a long time, and I always respected him, but what Sardinia says is not wrong. I too wondered why his pack wasn't more loyal. Sardinia looks to all of us as he continues. It's going to take strength, determination, and power for him to rise above it all and rebuild. Sheba was a masterful leader. Isala must have had another pack influence helping her steer the shifters. It's not our puzzle to solve or our battle to fight, but I'm not convinced that he won't have more battles for control ahead. Regardless, he plans to use helping us as a way to show the wolves he has the power of unity left within the underworld. I've made my peace with Descalia's friend and would welcome letting Sheba fight by our side. He's proven himself loyal and a great asset to the purebloods. Overmaster Descalia nods in agreement. He looks around, seeing the nods of the other masters and agreement of their mates. Thank you, Sardinia. Neither the witches nor the pure-blooded vampires of today want any more blood to be shed. But we will do what we must to stop Lucas, Embry, the rogues, and those who battle by their sides from taking what belongs to us. Sheba and his loyals will be helpful in this effort. Of that, I have no doubt. I've asked him to stay back, keep an eye on things farther from the perimeter, and let us know if he sees anything amiss. A bright flash of the stones around Raven, Willow, and Madria's neck pulls our attention to them. Willow strokes the oval gem, and her fingertips spark as Luciana's eyes glow. It's time. Raven looks at the other witches in the room. We must remember what Devora said about the power of the stones, and that destiny set us to help battle the rogues once and for all. They are not just enemies of the vampires, but enemies of ours. They turned many in our covens against us with their evil. We must not waste a sign to help end them. Luciana nods, her crystalline green eyes glowing bright. The vampire Bible, Vademecum, says, when beasts and the enchantresses combine, the path of light will blind. I agree with Raven. It's time to slay our foe and reclaim what is rightfully ours. Master Aradia returns with Natalia, and it's clear that he's decked her out in all his most treasured gear for the journey. 2 green jeweled daggers sit tucked into the dual chest vest she wears, while a long sword falls toward the floor from her waist. Most of you know or know of Natalia. She'll be coming with us. I grin, extending a hand to the woman who's managed to turn my best friend's head and steal away his heart from a million women who would love to take her place. I've heard much about you, and it's good to finally meet you in person. I'm glad to see you're ready to battle, because the witch's stones have just told us it's time. Luciana steps forward, her eyes casting a green glow throughout the room, looking at each one of us before moving to the next. I do not want anyone to put their life in jeopardy, but if you have the ability to take Embry alive, I will consider it a personal favor. I would like to speak with her if we find her, if at all possible. The witches all look to Luciana and then back to us, their fingertips all crackling with blue and silver electricity as their eyes begin to spin. My jaw tightens, because when the witches get pissed and their electricity starts to zap, it usually means that all hell is about to break loose. Chapter 2. Chara. Once in Club Descalia's employee area, I shrug out of my long sweater and hang it up in the locker before heading to the makeup tables situated along a wall of mirrors. I pull the black pony holder from my shoulder-length red hair and flip my head upside down, fluffing it with my fingers to give it a little lift. I give myself a critical look in the mirror to make sure the weather hasn't messed up more than my hair before heading out to the bar for my shift. I recognize 2 vampire leaders for the region when I join Talon at the bar in the main lounge. She pours both of the lords a glass of Discalia Red, a mixture of blood and red wine, while I stuff my sweater and purse underneath the bar. She finishes with her customers, engrossed in conversation, and walks down the length of the marble bar. I heard what happened to Natalia. I'm so sorry, Chara. I know how close you are. I can't even imagine being human one day and a vampire the next. How is she taking it? I sigh, relieved to have someone I can really talk to who understands what exactly happened and why. She's actually doing really well. They said she transitioned really fast compared to most. I went to see her again today, and seriously, I don't think I've ever seen her this happy. She was one of the lucky ones. Natalia wanted to be a vampire. Talen's eyes flash red. She's the envy of many female vampires and humans alike. I don't think anyone thought Master Aradia would ever settle down with one person. I laugh. Master Aradia is taking very good of Natalia. All the vampires are, really. You know how good they are to us here? Well, they're even better when they're in love with you. I swear, what I wouldn't give to have any male, vampire or human, look at me like Master Aradia looks at Natalia. Talon laughs, polishing the black marble bar top to a shine as her dark hair swings in the breeze. It's been a while since we were on the same shifts with getting all the new girls trained for the Club Discalia expansions. The grand openings are going to be exciting, but getting ready for it has been a lot of work. I take the rag from Talon and toss it under the counter in the dirty bin. It is exciting, and it will be great to work together again. Why don't you go get a break while it's still quiet? She nods. You don't have to tell me twice. I'm going to go sit for a while and get out of these heels. There was a time when I could stand on these things for a 14-hour stretch and never feel a thing. I grin. You sound like you're 40 instead of 23, but don't look a day over 21. She lowers her voice. Truth be told, I'm kind of envious of the ladies who get to lay down on the job, if you know what I mean, or bend over the benches, whatever the pleasure. I laugh, looking down at our standard issue black Louboutin hills with red platforms on the bottom. It's probably because those things are 5 inches high and that arch is intended to lift your ass as you walk by the horny clientele showing off your wiggle, these fishnet stockings, and slinky lingerie. She laughs. That's exactly what I missed. It's never dull working with you. I'm glad they paired us up. I need some fun in our life. I'll take a quick break and be back soon. They set up a feast for us in the break room a little while ago. I inhale the air. I could smell it from the locker room. Overmaster and the masters who own the club know how to pamper the employees and the clientele. That's for damn sure. Talon waves a red manicured finger with black tips that match my own into the air and heads toward the banquet, which is probably fit for a king instead of to serve Club Discalia employees. One of the lords lifts a glass and I walk toward him. Another Discalia Red? His eyes meet mine. No, just a water. There's too much to do tonight. He leans in close. You've been with the Club Discalia and our family for quite some time. I have, about 4 years since I was 20. Drankus passes me a black and red business card with a bat in the left-hand corner, getting ready to take flight and his name etched in raised letters. I want you to call me at this number if you see anyone suspicious milling around tonight or any other night. You catch wind of a shifter or someone who doesn't look like they belong, asks one too many questions, you call me. Understood? I nod. Yes, sir. Good. We're going to take off, but there are plenty of guards around the perimeter just in case trouble breaks out tonight. He turns. You do know where the panic button is, and the protocol? I swallow hard, hoping that nothing happens tonight that comes to that. Talon and I know exactly what to do, sir. We even know where the panic room is and what to do in case we need to get there. He nods. Good. Madame Bridget and the vampires on staff will strive to take care of keeping you all safe, but there is a war brewing. I don't think it's coming our way. The rogues have more important matters to tend to, but you and Talon should be prepared, just in case. Let's hope nothing happens tonight. His dark black eyes meet mine. We can only take precautions at the moment, Chara. The dark-suited vampire strides from the club with the lord he was having a drink with. I realize my hand is trembling. Never have we been warned of the potential for such impending doom, and never have I felt more vulnerable after knowing what happened to Natalia. Lucas is still out there, and he won't stop until he gets what he wants. The thought of an attack by shifters and the rogue vampires we've heard so much about of late swims in my mind, overtaking any effort to get rid of the images of my friend recently torn to shreds by their brutality. Talon returns a few minutes later, looking a little more relaxed, and settles onto one of the stools on our side of the bar. Her eyes narrow at me. "What's the matter?" she asks. I could never hide much from her. It's like she senses this stuff or just reads my mind. I just talked to Lord Drankus. He wanted to make sure we knew where the panic buttons were in case things get dicey with the rogue shifters and vampires. She takes a hard look around at those mingling at the tables and sitting on the couches in the dimly lit club. We know everyone here right now, but it's early. Talon lowers her voice. After what happened to Natalia, I don't think we can be too careful. First sign of trouble, we hit the button and head to the panic room. It makes me grateful they had the foresight to put one on every floor of the club now. No doubt about that. I may have thought the rooms were overkill when I first learned about them, but I don't anymore. Agreed. Natalia never saw the attack in her brother's home coming. Those guys are syndicate. They were armed and prepared, yet that evil son of a bitch Lucas got her good. Talon's eyes flash. He won't stop. I heard he's out for revenge. I scan the vampires standing together by the door of the club, and my chest tightens with angst. He still wants her as revenge for her brothers not taking sides with the rogue vampires. It's such a mindfuck to think Overmaster Descalia's right-hand man for centuries would not only turn rogue, but turn out to be leading the charge against the purebloods. Descalia has to feel incredibly betrayed. Talon's violet eyes connect with mine as I look up. We both know that if we're being warned, trouble is probably already on its way to the region of Bistrita. My chest bounds with fear that he's heading right to my friend and not to Club Descalia. Lucas isn't going to stop until he gets Natalia. He wanted her dead, not turned. He wants revenge on her brother Michael for moving the syndicate support to the vampire masters and not the rogues. The way I hear it, he's not going to let this go without exacting revenge. I have to warn her. If Drankus says trouble is coming, it's coming. He's not going to stop trying to get her, Talon. I text Natalia, waiting a minute for a response. A long fucking minute while my heart pounds and blood races with fear for my friend's life when she doesn't answer after far too long. I have to go warn her. Talon touches my shoulder. I've got things covered here. Just be careful, Chara. It's not going to help Natalia one bit if you get captured and killed instead of her. Think about how she would feel. I know she's right, but still, the angst for my friend overshadows any thought of self-preservation as I text Natalia again. Are you okay? When I don't get a response this time, my mind is made up. I grab my sweater and purse from underneath the bar. I have to go now. I don't even bother explaining to the vampire guards, who try to slow me down as I leave the club. Family emergency, I call back over my shoulder, racing down the street to hail a cab and warn my friend.